Hey guys, Coach Jason. Hope you're doing well. So, how do you start, or when do you start incorporating tempo runs, threshold training, and stuff like that into either your training or the training of your athletes? Whether you're a coach at the high school level, let's say, or someone who hasn't incorporated these things yet. You run a couple of just use some running to run a couple of races, and now you want to get a little bit more structure, and so on. I want to go over how I utilize it and how I've kind of built my athletes up over time to the point where they can start utilizing this stuff, or I can start incorporating it into their training. Okay, so it looks a little mumble, but I'm going to explain everything. Okay, and just so you know, for those that don't know me, Coach Jason, I am a 20-plus year former competitive runner and current coach of the past two decades. I'm also USATF certified. I'm also Wharton certified musculoskeletal and flexibility therapist. So my interest in not only helping you run faster, but to keep you healthy while you do it. All right. And with that, I want to get to this. So here's kind of how I look at it. Okay. Up top, this is a 4-week block. Let's say your first 4 weeks. So let's just say you're a coach and you're starting some new runners or high school athletes. All right. So 4 weeks of a gradual mileage buildup. Okay. Let's say you want to get them on whatever it is, 40 miles a week. Over the first 4 weeks, you build it up to the 40. Let's just say 10, 20, 30, 40 for the first 4 weeks in a safe manner, okay? Now, sometimes it needs to be more conservative. That's fine, whatever it is. If you want to build them up to 80, obviously it's going to take longer than 4 weeks. But let's just say 40 for number's sake. So you built them up to the mileage, and then you kind of level off, okay? And then you're going to basically stay around 40 weeks. Let's say you start to incorporate strides in the next 4-week block, okay? Let's say Tuesdays and Fridays. You're doing a couple of 50-meter strides on Tuesday and Friday the first week. 100-meter strides week 2, both days. 150-meter strides the week 3. 200-meter strides week 4. Whatever it is. Okay, 3 or 4 of each. And now you start to incorporate a little bit of leg speed development while maintaining the mileage. Okay, so now you've got 8 weeks of running under your belt. At this point, and I say this in a lot of other videos, at this point, we want to basically test people's fitness and kind of ability levels, okay, with about 8 weeks of running. And I generally recommend no less than 6 to 10 weeks of running before doing this. A 1-mile time trial. 1-mile time trial will give you a lot of data. It'll tell you what your fitness is, or the fitness of your athlete's current fitness, okay? And it'll also tell you what their capabilities are for, 5K, 3K, 800 meters, and 400 meters. And it'll help you structure training accordingly, okay? But what it'll also help you do is to help you set the appropriate training paces for them based on what they run or what you run for the 1-mile time trial, all right? And it'll kind of help you structure out the training accordingly based on current fitness and what the goals might be later on. You can work from current to goal. This gives you a map or a roadmap to help lay things out to accomplish these goals, okay? Based on the 1-mile time trial, okay, and take a look in the description down below, by the way. There's a video on a 1-mile time trial. I've done a fully detailed video, and then another one on how to set the appropriate training paces, specific numbers, based on what your athletes or what you run for the 1-mile time trial. It'll take away a lot of the work and make life easier for you. So I encourage you to take a look at those, okay? Now, I'm going to go over a 9-week block of training, okay? Doesn't have to be 9 weeks. It just gives you an idea on how to lay things out, okay? I'm working my way from tempo, an 8-minute tempo, all the way up to about 4 miles over time, okay? And I'll show you how I do it, okay? Early in the week, let's say we're going to accelerate or run hard twice a week, okay? So let's say Tuesday, let's stick on the Tuesday-Friday mode. Tuesday, 8 by 100-meter uphill strides, okay, or uphill runs, okay, with a jog equal down recovery, leaning into the hill, staying upright, pumping the arms, pumping the legs, okay. The goal is to develop leg power and leg speed, all right. Then Friday, an 8-minute tempo. How do you calculate the pace? Well, you utilize what you ran or what they ran for the 1-mile time trial. It helps you set the pace, the appropriate pace for the tempo run, okay. And you'll see paces for tempo, threshold, easy runs, steady runs, long runs, intervals, all different types of stuff. You will know all the paces that you need, okay? So 8-minute tempo, and you take a 4-minute active jog recovery, and then you do 4 by 100-meter strides on the flats, okay, to complement the uphill runs earlier this week of the same distance, okay? And it's just to get you turning over when the legs are fatigued, okay? Week 2, 10 by 100 meter uphill runs on Tuesday, jog equal recovery, same focus, we just added 2 reps. Now we're going to go 2 by 6 minute tempo. We're breaking it up into 2 pieces, but the total is 12 minutes, okay? 3 minute recovery after each one, active recovery, and then 4 by 100 meter flat on the flats again for turnover, okay? This totals 12 minutes, so you'll see what we do the following week. Now we got 8 by 150 meter uphill runs on Tuesday, jog equal recovery, same focus, and now we're doing a 12-minute consecutive or continuous tempo run, okay? 4 minute active recovery, okay? So we take 4 minutes after the consecutive tempo, and then 3 minute breaks in between broken up tempos. But you see here, broken up into pieces, total 12, and then continuous, all 12. I didn't really have to break up pieces to start with 8 minute tempo. Based on a 1 mile time trial, you should be able to run an 8 minute continuous tempo pace with a decent amount of fitness. Okay, so 12 minute tempo, rest 4 minutes, and then 4 by 150 meters on the flats with a jog equal recovery to complement the 150s you ran up on the hills. Okay, following week, 10 by 150s uphill. Okay, we added 2 reps, jog equal recovery. And then Friday, now we're breaking it up into 2 pieces again, but we're adding time. 2 by 8 minute tempo now. Okay, so 16 minutes of total running. 3 minute recovery after each one. Then 4 by 150 meters on the flat. Okay, with a jog equal recovery. 8 by 200 meter uphills the following week with a jog equal recovery. Same focus. And then a 16 minute consecutive tempo. 4 minute recovery after the tempo, or continuous tempo, I should say. And then 4 by 200 meters on the flat. Okay, so the flat accelerations here are complementing the uphill accelerations of the same distance, the same week. All right. Following week, 10 by 200 meter uphill on Tuesday, jog equal recovery, and then a 2 by 10 minute tempo piece with 3 minutes active recovery in between each. Right, and then 4 by 200 meters on the flat afterward, turning over when you're fatigued. Okay, with a jog equal recovery. All right. Following week, we're going 6 by 300 meter tempo. 6 by 300 meter uphill run. So getting longer. They're not going to be as fast as the hundreds, but that's okay. Focus on pumping, running efficiently, keeping upright, and still leaning into the hill. Okay, pumping your arms and lifting those legs. 6 by 300 meter uphill runs. Jog equal recovery down. And when you jog down, I encourage you to lean into the hill as well, so that you're somewhat perpendicular to the hill. You're leaning back. It kind of puts a little stress on your joints, particularly your Achilles, and we want to avoid that on the downhills. Okay. So 6 by 300 meter uphill, and then on Friday, a 20-minute consecutive tempo run, or continuous tempo run. Sorry about that. 4 minute active recovery, 4 by 300 meters on the flats with a jog 100 meter now. 100 meter jog after your 300s. They'll be at about mile pace, the 300 meter efforts. Okay. Following week, 8 by 300 meter uphill runs. So we added 2 uphill runs of 300 meters, jog equal recovery. And I'm going to do 2 by 2 mile effort at tempo, 3 minutes after each one. And then 4 by 300 meters on the flat with a 100 meter jog at mile pace to complement the 300s uphill. Following week, 6 by 400 meter uphill runs. Okay, so we got a little bit longer, jog equal recovery. And then complementing that with a 4 mile consecutive tempo to complement the 2 by 2 mile week the week before. 4 minute recovery, and then 6 by 200 meters on the flats. Instead of 6 by 400 meters, I kept the reps 6, but I cut it down to 6 by 200 meters for turnover with a jog equal recovery, so a jog 200 meter recovery, because the following week we're going to repeat that 1 mile time trial that you did 9 weeks prior to that, okay, and see how much you've improved, or your athletes have improved from here to there, based on just adding basic speed development and incorporation of tempo and letting you get to the point. And my sweet spot is generally 4 to 5 miles before I start transitioning it into a cycle where I alternate tempo and threshold running, okay, which we'll go through next. But I built it up to the point where you're at about 4 miles of tempo running, and then we retest with a 1 mile time trial. And based on what you run for the 1 mile time trial, we'll reset the training paces, okay, for everybody. And then let's move over here now, okay? This is like an 8-week cycle where you alternate some other things. So Tuesday, now we're moving from the flats, and let's say we go on the grass or the track, okay? We're going to do alternating weeks, a 5K pace, 3K pace, and mile pace. So let's just say folks are running 1 mile, 2 mile, 5 mile, and 5K and stuff like that. This complements that. The workouts will be different if the focus is the 10K and longer. So let's stick with the workouts at 5K, or the race focus at 5K and shorter. Okay. So the week one, 6 by 800 meters with a 2-minute recovery at 5K pace. Okay. And you can even progress from your current 5K pace based on your 1 mile time trial, so your current 5K equivalent, to your goal 5K pace. Okay. You can do them all at current pace, or you can repeat that workout later and start progressing towards goal. So that's Tuesday, and then afterward, 4 by 200 meters with a 1-minute recovery at the mile pace that you just ran. Okay. Friday, 4-mile tempo, 4-minute active recovery, and 4 by 200 meters on the uphill. Okay. So 4 by 200 meter uphill. Yes, you're going back on the uphill, but for shorter reps, running uphills when you're fatigued. It's a great way of developing leg power and leg speed as well in a different way. Jog equal recovery. Okay. Don't worry about how fast you run. The idea is just run these hard after the tempo. And learning how to turn over when you're fatigued is a really good thing. It simulates the end of racing. Okay, the latter part of a race when you need to kick, you need to start driving, and your legs are tired. This type of stuff simulates it, so it's good. Okay. Following week, 7 by 600 meter efforts with a 3K pace now. Okay, so 7 by 600 at 3K pace with a 200 meter jog recovery. And I accidentally erased it here, but you can do 7 by 100 meter strides afterward with a 100 meter jog recovery. Okay, so 7 by 100 meter strides, or quick 100s with a 100 meter jog back. Okay, or walk, whatever you need, whatever is most appropriate. And then on the opposite side, we're going to do 6 by 1,000 meter efforts with a 1-minute recovery at threshold pace. Okay, and this is where we're alternating tempo and threshold now. And you'll notice threshold components, and I'll put out a video down below of tempo running and threshold as well, so you can see the difference between the two. They serve the same purpose, but threshold is broken up into pieces at a slightly faster pace at the tempo run. Okay, so you can still receive the same benefit in a non-invasive way. Just learn how to do it in a quicker pace. Plus, with tempo and threshold, you can do more volume than you would hard interval running. So the recovery necessity on the other end isn't as significant. You can come back 48 to 72 hours after this and do another workout or a race, whereas if you did 6 by 1,000 hard, you might need 72 to 96 hours. So recovery is different as well. So 6 by 1,000 with a 1-minute recovery at threshold, 4 by 150 meter strides on the back end, on the flat actually, with a jog equal recovery. Week 3, 8 by 400 meters, so we're going from 5K pace to 3K pace down to mile pace now. Okay, 8 by 400 meter efforts with a 1-minute recovery. If you can, if you need 90 seconds, that's fine. You work your way down if you need to. Okay, at mile pace, it can go from current to goal. And then on Friday, a 4.5 mile, so we added a half mile to the tempo. 4.5 mile tempo with a 4-minute active recovery, and then a 300, 200, 100. Each one gets a little bit faster on the flats with jog equal recovery. If you need to be in the grass, that's fine. Track, it's fine. Okay. Following week, we'll test you a little bit. 4 to 5 mile fartlek run, which is mixed pace running. Okay, and let's say it's a minute 30 hard, a minute easy for the 4 to 5 mile distance, whatever you choose. Okay, this is something you'll repeat later on, so you can see if that timed segment of 4 to 5 miles gets a little bit faster. Okay, so that's on a Tuesday. That can be, or I encourage you to do it on the grass, trails, or whatever by feel. And then we test him. We test you that weekend with a race of some sort. Let's just say it's a 3K or 5K. And we'll see where we're at, okay? And based on what you run on that 5K, if it's closer, we'll see how close it is to your 1 mile time trial, okay? That gives you an idea how the fitness is progressing. And if you're closer, to the 3K and 5K than you are the 400 and 800, that's a sign you might need to enhance the speed development. On the flip side, if you're closer to the 4 and the 8 than you are the 3 and the 5 based on the 1 mile time trial, that's a sign to increase the aerobic component, which is why I'm incorporating speed development and aerobic and threshold and stuff like that to give you a well-balanced approach, a well-balanced training cycle. All right. So following week, then we go back up to 5K pace. Okay. We add a rep, 7 by 800 meter efforts with a 7 by 800 with a 2-minute recovery at 5K pace. Okay. And then 4 by 200 meter efforts on the back end with a 1-minute recovery at mile pace. Friday, 6 by 1200 meter efforts at the same threshold pace that you did the thousands, okay, with a 75-second recovery or 1 minute and 15-second recovery, okay. So you've got a little bit longer now. With a 1200, you're staying a little bit longer in the threshold zone than you were with the 1000 meter efforts. So it's the same threshold pace. and then 4 by 200 meter efforts on the uphill afterward with a jog equal recovery. So again, we're doing uphills after the threshold reps, okay, or the tempo reps. But they're not every week now. We're alternating them now, okay. And then following week, 8 by 600 meter efforts, okay. So we added a rep there too, with a 200 meter jog again at 3K pace, and then 6 by 100 meter efforts. For some reason, I deleted that. 6 by 100 with a 100 meter walk or jog afterward for turnover. And then Friday, we bumped it up now, 5 mile tempo. So we've gone from 4 to 4.5 to 5. Okay, 4-minute recovery afterward, active recovery, and then 5 by 150s, 5 by 150 meter efforts on the flats, speed turnover. Okay, with a jog equal recovery. Okay, and then last hard week, 9 by 400 meters. So we added a rep there as well. 9 by 400 meter efforts with a 1 minute recovery, or working towards 1 minute from 90 seconds at mile pace. So you should be close to be able to do it with a minute recovery at mile pace on Tuesday. And then Friday, 4 to 5, depending on you or your athlete's fitness. And again, if you need to keep this at 4 miles, if you're not ready to bump it up, that's fine too. It really depends on yourself and your athletes. But let's just say 4 to 5 by a mile with a 90-second recovery at threshold pace. Same threshold pace as the 1200s and as the 1000, just spending longer time in the threshold zone. Okay. And then on the back end, 300, 200, 100, repeating that again like we did here for turnover on the back end with a jog equal recovery. Okay. And then the following week, test here. We do the 4 to 5 mile fartlek again. See if we can go a little bit faster than we did last time for the 4 to 5 mile segment, not including the warm up or the cool down. And they're going to race again, whether it be a 3K, 5K, 5K, mile, whatever your preferences are. This gives you an opportunity to address 5K pace, 3K pace, mile pace, all within a training cycle, and see how you kind of progress from one to the next. Okay, so you see here how you tested yourself at 1 mile, set your training paces, and then built into, okay, started incorporating speed development and started to incorporate the strength component by gradually beefing up the tempo runs, which allows you to get to the point where you're at 4 miles or 20 minutes, so that you can come over here and alternate between threshold and tempo, okay, which is key. If you're able to do that for, whether it be a 6-week or an 8-week cycle, you'll be, remarkably surprised at how well you can run without even having to do hard reps. Yes, these are pretty aggressive reps and stuff, but kept it pretty straightforward just so you could see the progression. And again, you can do it this as whatever what you feel is most appropriate. If you want to move some of these things around, you can adopt a couple of them. You might not want to adopt any of them, but this is just a way of showing you how to gradually build yourself up to the point where you can start doing this and be race ready, and then take a downtime once the season's over, and then kind of gradually build yourself up again. This gives you a template with some structure, okay? So I hope this was helpful. If you found it useful, I'm going to sit down here. If you found it useful, please hit the thumbs up, okay? If you're a coach or an athlete, you like stuff like this, please hit that subscribe button, okay? And please hit the notification as well, so that you don't miss new videos that I put out, but you also can see all the videos that I put out already. And I put out detailed training programs from cross-country, mile, 3K, 5, all different types of training programs, from all the way up to the marathon, with goal times as well. So, and they're fully detailed by the day, by the week, by the month. So you see how everything's broken down with full explanations. So, hope this was helpful. And again, if there's something that I haven't put out that you want me to put out, just let me know in the comments down below. And if you feel this would be helpful to other people that you know in the running community, coaches, athletes, please share it with them. I want to share this with as many people as possible. I learn from athletes and my athletes just as much as I've learned, or just as much as they learn from me. So I want to continue making this one of the better running channels out there, and do my part to help the running community. So with that, be safe, look out for each other. Talk to you soon.